Court filings in the animal cruelty case involving two former Salina animal shelter workers has one defendant now asking for the trial to be moved out of Salina County. As Gabrielle Hernandez explains, the defense arguing extensive media coverage could prevent a fair trial.
More than a month after pleading not guilty to misdemeanor animal cruelty charges, former Salina animal shelter manager Andrea Murphy is asking for a judge to move her trial outside of Salina County.
Evidence is evidence.
Murphy's attorney argues extensive media coverage and strong public reaction have created what the defense calls great prejudice, making it impossible to seat an impartial jury locally. The motion points to thousands of social media comments along with threats directed at both defendants. Animal advocates Sue Nickel and Michelle Timpson say it doesn't matter where the trial is held. They say they'll continue pushing for accountability and justice for the animals.
It doesn't matter where you have the trial, the evidence is the same, and that is what will ultimately convict both of them.
Well, I think you find that with pretty much any case when it involves animals or children or elderly, especially with animals that, they have no voice. Our group, we're not condoning any violence or anything like that, but it's just emotions running high.
Murphy and former shelter manager Monique Hawley each face 3 misdemeanor counts of animal cruelty in connection to the euthanasia of 3 puppies. State inspectors allege the puppies were euthanized without sedation and by employees who were not properly trained or certified to perform the procedures.
We've seen the 9-page affidavit. That's enough for us.
Both Murphy and Hawley have also filed motions asking to remove the Salina County attorney and his office from prosecuting the case. Their attorneys argue there's a conflict of interest, alleging the county attorney's wife was seen distributing signs on behalf of the advocacy group.
For our animal shelter, we just need change here, and we need it now.
A judge has not yet ruled on these motions yet. In Salina, Gabriela Hernandez, 12 News.